Architecture, the art or science of building, especially the art or practice of designing and building edifice for human use. So what is edifice? Edifice is a large or massive structure, taking both aesthetic and practical factors into account. Architecture is the art and science of designing buildings and other physical structures. So let us proceed in the history. The history of architecture traces the changes in architecture through various traditions, regions, overarching stylistic trends and dates. The beginnings of all these traditions is thought to be human, satisfying the very basic need of shelter and protection. The term architecture generally refers to buildings, but in its essence is much broader, including fields we now consider specialized forms of practice, such as urbanism, civil engineering, naval, military, and landscape architecture. So in this video, this is the example of structure. Architecture, the art and technique of designing and building, as distinguished from the skills associated with construction. The practice of architecture is employed to fulfill both practical and expressive requirements, and thus it serves both utilitarian and aesthetic ends.
Literary arts. Literary art comes from two words, namely art and literature. Art means the expression of human feelings that have beauty value, while literature is an absorption word that comes from Sanskrit, which means guide, guidance, or order in the form of text or voice. So it can be concluded that literary art is actually a writing or story that comes from the expression of human feelings that have beauty value. Literature is the language used in books and is not an everyday language. Furthermore, literature can also be interpreted as written works when compared with other writings that have various characteristics of excellence, such as authenticity, artistry, and also beauty in content or expression. The history of literary art. Literary art is something in the form of writing or stories that have artistic and cultural values that displays the beauty of speech and language to convey certain meanings. Based on its history, literary works can be divided into two types, namely old literature and modern literature. Old literature. Old literature is a type of literary work made by writers who were in the royal era or where there was no national movement. Old literature consists of poetry, fairy tales, and sagas. Modern literature. Modern literature is a literature that developed in the life of modern society. The literary work was born after the emergence of the national movement. Modern literature includes poetry, prose, short stories, novels, romance, and dramas. Poetry is an example of literature arts. So what is poetry? Poetry has been around for almost 4,000 years. Like other forms of literature, poetry is written to share ideas, express emotion, and create imagery. Poets choose words for their meanings and acoustics, arranging them to create a tempo known as the meter. Some poems incorporate rhymes schemes with two or more lines that end in like-sounding words. Poetry is a type of literature that conveys a thought, describes a scene, or tells a story in a concentrated lyrical arrangement of words. Poems can be structured with rhyming lines and meter, the rhythm and emphasis of a line based on a syllabic beats. Poems can also be free-form, which follows no formal structure.
The history of theater can be traced back to 6th century BC, where the ancient Greeks were the first to present dramatic presentations. One of the most popular forms of the entertainment for people is a visit to the theater. For centuries, people enjoyed drama, comedy, music, and other forms of entertainment. Theater is a collaborative art form which combines words, voice, movement, and visual elements to express meaning. 4 artistic processes in theater. First one is creating. Creating in drama theater is a process in which students use the voice, body, and imagination to express concepts, ideas, and feelings. The second one is performing. The process of performing in theater and drama refers to the myriad of choices an actor or technician to bring life the character components. The third one, we have responding. In theater, responding may include reactions to ideas, stories, scripts, design, artistic choices, performances, and actions. The last one, we have connecting. The core process of connecting in theater recognizes that drama or theater work happens in a complex context of societal, personal, and historical forces. In addition to the standard narrative dialogue style of plays, theater takes such forms as plays, musicals, opera, ballet, illusion, mime, classical Indian dance, kabuki, and more.
Applied arts. What is applied art? Applied art is the application of design and aesthetics to objects of function and everyday use. Whereas fine arts serve as intellectual stimulation to the viewer or academic sensibilities, as well as produced or intended primarily for beauty. The fields of industrial design, graphic design, fashion design, interior design, decorative art, and functional art are altogether considered applied arts. History of applied art. The first applied art to be practiced in a major way was architecture. From the Egyptian pyramids, the ziggurats of summer, and the 7 wonders of ancient world, to the precisely organized proportions of Greek temples and the enduring engineering quality of Roman viaducts and bridges. Architects combine aesthetics with mathematics to design a functional but pleasing structure. What does applied art include? For the sake of simplicity, works of applied art comprise 2 different types. Standard machine-made products which have had a particular design applied to them, make them more attractive and easy to use. And individual, aesthetically pleasing but mostly functional craft products made by artisans or skilled workers. Example of applied arts: industrial design, fashion design, interior design, and graphic art and design, including computer graphics, as well as the most types of decorative art, for example, furniture, carpets, tapestry, embroidery, and etc.